From the Open Season Properties studio, welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors. I really enjoyed that conversation with Adam Butler, head of the Wild Turkey Program for the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. What a great guy. We're so lucky to have leaders like him inside that department. Hey, listen, Open Season Properties is a full-service real estate company with a team approach philosophy that ensures your needs are the highest priority, whether it's rural land sales, residential, or commercial properties. Open Season Properties markets and sells real estate in Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. And they're dedicated to the development of long-term client relationships and unwavering commitment to service. Go to openseasonproperties.com to learn more. And like I said, I'm really thrilled now to have my friend, the Brigadier General retired from the United States Air Force, Joe Spraggins, who's the Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks, and Department of Marine Resources, had Fisheries and Parks in my head. Joe, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Hey, listen, I was looking through this morning in preparation for this conversation. And, you know, I know that the department does a lot, but when you start to look at the public services you provide and the role you have in administering things like Mississippi seafood laws, Mississippi Coastal Wetlands Protection Act, the Public Trust Tidelands Act, the Boat and Water Safety Act, the Derelict Vessel Act, the Non-Point Source Pollution Act, the Magnuson Act, the Wallet Bro Sports Fish Restoration Act, Marine Litter Act, and the list goes on from there. You guys have a lot to say grace over, don't you?
We do. And, our whole goal is to enhance, protect, and conserve our resources in the Gulf of Mexico.
And man, do you do that well? Listen, I was so excited to read this on Super Talk Mississippi News recently. It was a new study from Fisher Booker, which is one of the top places in the Gulf of Mexico, as it's one of the top sites in the United States focused on booking charters for fishing. And they said that Biloxi is the top place for the Gulf of Mexico to fish red snapper. And by the way, that season started back on May the 24th. It said, known for its beaches, casinos, and seafood, Biloxi blends city life with a healthy dose of coastal charm. And it goes on from there about the secret coast, which is often the case. Is what I think the fact that we're the capital of the outdoors may change that. But it says, in summer, the red snapper fishing in Biloxi is just as amazing as elsewhere along the Gulf Coast. Typically, you'll run 25 miles offshore to a sunken wreck that house the fish. With the tasty red snapper, you'll get king mackerel, cobia sharks, and much more. Biloxi's number one. Port Aransas, Texas is number 2. Orange Beach and Gulf Shore is number 3. Pensacola, then Venice, then Port Lavaca, and then Tampa and Fort Myers. We're the top spot, but that doesn't surprise me, and I know it doesn't surprise you, Joe.
No, it doesn't. And, we manage our snappers very well, and we have a group of young men and women that are working in the fin fish, and they work on that. And Trevor Moncrief and Matt Hill are the two that kind of head up that program. And both of them are always out there looking at it. They're making sure. And the one thing that we try to do is make sure that whatever we do is we do not overfish our fishery. And, obviously with the cutback that we've had with the federal government in the last few years, they've really cut us back to to around 60,000 pounds of fish a year. And which is a lot less than what we should be catching. We could catch we figure 120 to 150,000 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood should be what we ought to be catching in the state of Mississippi. And I think with this new deal that we're doing now, where we're working on, it's called a MS Creel, and it's where we're matching up against where Louisiana did the LA Creel and Alabama's doing the AL Creel. And what we're going to do is have 3 states in the Gulf of Mexico all working on the same system. So NOAA will have those 3 states to operate off of. And I think you'll see a big increase in what we do in the near future.
Hey, Joe, you think there's always going to be kind of a rub between sort of the federal management of red snapper and what the states want to do? Or is there a way to resolve that?
Well, there's always a rub. I mean, when you say that, it's they're doing what they think needs to be done. The feds are not trying to do anything wrong. And Andy is he is spell check is over that for the NOAA, And Andy and I work hand in hand on a lot of things, and he has rules that he has to go by, and he didn't have a choice. And when you have the scientific reviews, and that's the hardest part, getting the scientific reviews understood, because it takes a long time for a scientific review to go through and be able to be understood. It is no question that not a single soul in NOAA knows that we're not overfishing. And there's no question that not a single soul doesn't believe that we should be able to catch more. But until they can get scientific data to prove it, they can't do it. And we have this new thing because it's an offshore fishing permit for reef fish, and that's going to help us a whole lot because now it's not costing you anything to do to get it every year, but it's kind of like getting a migratory bird. If you're doing a stamp for bird stamp for the state, you just say, hey, that I'm going to shoot birds, or whatever. I'm going to go dove hunting or whatever. It doesn't cost you anything, but it takes that 80,000 people who buy a license down to about 20,000 people, because the real ones, the only ones that have to have it are the ones that file that are coming here to do it. And that's going to help our source a whole lot.
Well, as you know, I spent a lot of time offshore and have for my entire life. So I know where all the little honey holes are, and we can make a long run to FH7 or beyond. We can fish off Alabama or Louisiana. We have those opportunities from, out of Mississippi ports. But, really some of the best fishing over the last couple of years have been right there, FH1, FH2, right there close to Horn Island, between Horn Island and Ship. I love what Mississippi's done with artificial reefs, and I just hope we continue to do more in that area.
We are, and matter of fact, we have just put another $1 million that the legislature gave us this year through Go Mesa to do artificial reefs. There's a big project about to come out I can't speak about, but there's something that's going to be unique to South Mississippi, and it's going to be a unique deal, and I can't speak about it right now, but I think you'll see it hit the news here in the very near future. And so it's going to be a special reef, a special type reef. And we just deployed some boats that Omega had, some big boats that they gave us the boats, and we were able to take them and get them prepared. So we're trying very hard, and we're trying to do some reef balls and other things to be able to do inshore, because we need inshore reefs too. We need all types of reefs, and we don't want to hurt the shrimp industry by putting them everywhere, in a situation where there's too many reefs and the shrimpers can't do the shrimp fishing, because that's part of our life too, and we want to make sure that they be able to do that. So we have to look at what we're doing and be able to manage it the right way.
Well, listen, as the former president of Alabama Media Group and the publisher down in the Mobile newspaper, I spent a lot of time fishing off of Gulf shores and off the Alabama coast. And if you look at my GPS, what you will see are hundreds, if not thousands, of marks off of Alabama. Alabama, man, their reef program has been incredible. You can go shallow, you can go deep, and all points in between. I don't think we need that. We don't need that many in Mississippi, but it's great to have options. We don't need long stretches of going offshore where we don't have at least some opportunity to do it. And it's exciting that we're going to be doing something innovative. I look forward to you coming back on the show to talk more about that.
Yeah, it will. I think it'll be neat. I mean, it's. I've seen the pictures and everything else. I just can't say anything about it, and I promise that we keep quiet. And but I think it's a local company that's doing it.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be great.
Well, again, exciting that Mississippi is going to branch out there and be innovative and do something that we recreational fishermen can enjoy. And that's the kind of the key as part of our success. One of the reasons why we were ranked number one in red net snapper fishing spots, and just keep that designation, we got to do innovative things. We got to continue to add to it and make it better. That is for sure. Hey, listen, just in fishing in general, you think about we've had a little bit of rain recently, but the fishing in coastal Mississippi, both backwaters and offshore, has been absolutely incredible. I mean, every charter boat captain I have on, every recreational fisherman I have on, talks about how awesome it has been. That's great to see, isn't it?
It is, and we caught a lot of slack back a few years ago when we went to 15-15 on the speckled trout, but spotted sea trout. But I tell you what, I think it's really paying off. It is paying off, and I think that the people are understanding. And you see the people like Louisiana and others that are coming along with us, and they're raising their limits a little bit. They lowered to 15 and raised to 13, and they may raise it even further than that in the future. But the point is, I think the being able to let those fish spawn and being able to let them be able to produce what we need in the estuary has worked out very good. And I tell you what, people really enjoy catching a 15-inch or 18-inch fish.
Oh man, I tell you, me too. I think, listen, for everyone that I talk to who is in the know, they are 100% unanimous saying that raising the limits was a good idea, and Mississippi should lead the way as it relates to that. Hey, when we get back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with Executive Director Joe Spraggins, and we're going to talk about the Mississippi shrimp season, how that's going so far. Opened up on May 22nd, and we'll go from there. We'll see you after this break. Welcome back to Super Talk Outdoors from the Open Season Property Studio. Hey, listen, are you looking to purchase the perfect piece of hunting property, upgrade your farm equipment, or have you been dreaming of owning your slice of heaven out in the country? Look no further than Mississippi Land Bank for your financing needs. For more than 100 years, farmers and landowners in North Mississippi have turned to Mississippi Land Bank for all kinds of financial solutions, whether it's for land, equipment, or livestock. For more information, visit mslandbank.com or go by and see one of their friendly staff at any of their offices. Mississippi Land Bank. Love having them as a sponsor of Super Talk Outdoors. Now let's get back to my friend, General Joe Spraggins. He's the Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, and enjoy talking fishing with him. Hey, listen, as we think about the Mississippi shrimp season, gosh, we're so fortunate to have such a vibrant seafood industry in Mississippi. You guys have a lot to say grace over that. But it opened on May 22nd. What are the early reports that you're getting?
We get some good reports. Matter of fact, when it opened up this last week, just to give you an idea, a lot of the 50-60 count, which is good sized shrimp, and and they're being sold anywhere from about $1.80 to $2.50 a pound, and that's either in Ocean Springs or in Biloxi is what we surveyed off of it. And we're catching 10 to 15 count white shrimp, a lot of white shrimp.
Wow.
And that's a big shrimp, $4.50 to $5 a pound. That's pretty good. I mean, that's really a big deal. And when you think about that, when you talk about go down to the dock, you want Gulf fresh. There you go. It's coming straight out of the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, we that's how we get ours. We have a particular shrimper that we do business with, and he's religious, man. He's out there just about every night. He'll take a break from time to time, and he has them right there at his boat. A lot of times pre-sold them. We know to expect that he's going to be coming back. But the prices were high last year. I mean, it's great to hear the prices you're talking about this year. We're hitting, coming out of the gate with some really affordable shrimp, aren't we?
We are, and but the other thing is too, obviously the price of fuel is high right now, and as far as the diesel fuel going out, and so it's costing the shrimpers a lot. So we're hoping that we're doing our Bonnie Carey money. We're working on that right now, and we've just about finished we have done all the preliminary for the basic payouts and for commercial fishermen, and we're almost finished with our secondary payout, and where some of them got up to $108,000. And, we could pay up to that amount. But what we tried to do was we tried to make everybody in 2019 what they would have got from the years prior, that we would manage what they had 2014 to 19, what they would have caught in a year. We tried to be able to pay them back that much for that 1 year. And we just got a new one in the 2020, and it's for another $3 million. And we're about to set up the round of it. So we'll be able to do shrimp and oysters for it also.
Gosh, it's so incredible. Listen, we don't want oil spills to happen. We don't want Bonnie Carey spillways to get open. In that particular year, you're talking about open twice in 1 year. that led to an algae bloom and bad news for the seafood industry and all that. But, one thing that does for us is, one, it keeps us motivated to keep those in the business in business, because they had huge challenges after this. And the fact that so much money's been made available to make them whole, that's a story in and of itself. But it's important because one of our competitive advantages is our Gulf fresh seafood. I mean, that's one of the things that makes eating in coastal Mississippi so amazing, isn't it?
It is. And I'll tell you something else that we're doing. And it's a company that I don't want to advertise, but so I won't say anybody's name or anything. But they're working on a hybrid oyster. All right. And what is a hybrid oyster? It's an oyster that can live in less than 5 parts per thousand salinity. They started this thing about a year ago, and they started growing them. And what they did is they took 1,500 oysters and they put them into an area, and it's in a area that has less than 5 parts per thousand on a normal day. And out of that, 20 of those oysters lived. Well, they took those 20 oysters and they made them into what they call they call them athletes. And so they took those and they spawned those oysters, and now they got over 6 million living in that same area that has less than 5 parts per thousand. So what is this going to do for us? If we can make this work, we can start spawning that oyster and putting it into the Gulf of Mexico. Then if we do have a high rain or anything else, or we have a Bonnet Carré opening, we have a chance for our oysters to live if they have that genetics in them. So I think that we're working it very hard. This is something for the future.
Well, that's exciting, because when you think about saving New Orleans and they open up the Bonnet Carré Spillway, and that polluted fresh water rushes into Lake Pontchartrain, into Lake Borgne, into the Mississippi Sound, that's not used to having that, nor would they have ever had that had they not opened up the Bonnet Carré Spillway. It wipes out all of the population of oyster. To have an oyster genetic that is more tolerant to fresh water, that could be a game changer. We'll talk more about that in the future, in fact. Hey, Joe Spraggins, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, my friend.
You too. And just remember, whatever you do, when you go to your restaurant, ask, does it go fresh?
You bet. Always ask that. Thank you, Joe. Have a great day. And as I always end every show, stay safe when you're in the outdoors. Have a great day and good week. We'll see you next week. God bless you.
Thank you.